A weird question I wanted to ask you, but if somebody had never watched football or never seen Ange-ball, if you had to describe it to like an alien that had landed, how would you describe your footballing philosophy?
I guess it, and again, it's an ever evolving one. What I really, it's exactly what you just said. That hopefully people talk about it, in a positive sense. But
Yeah.
I think when people talk about it, it goes beyond just outcomes in terms of every week you'll get a certain a certain number of teams that win, certain number of teams that lose, and the rest will draw, whatever. But if they're talking about your team and the way they play, there's usually something there that's a little bit different, maybe a little bit more. Out there in terms of what's done conventionally, and that's what I try and achieve. Look, I've had a sort of unconventional path to get to where I am, and I think if I'd have stuck between the two sort of broad lines in terms of the way I did things, I probably wouldn't have got here. I've had to go outside those lines at times and do things a little bit differently in my approach and the way the team played. So, if they come and watch a game of a team I'm coaching, hopefully they see something that they walk away and they say, you know what, I've never seen that approach before, or they walked away thinking, geez, that's it's a different way of playing the game.
Do you think growing up, I know you've spoken in previous interviews about your father, he's played a big role on your leadership style now when you go and speak to players and try and get them to play the Ange way?
Well, just from a value-based perspective more than anything else. Not, my dad was a man of his generation, so it's not like he was what we would deem the perfect parent in today's terminology, because he was hardly around. He hardly ever sort of spent any time with me because he was out working hard, mate, and that sort of rubs off on you. And I think, hard work is something that I do talk about a lot, that it's one thing to be passionate about something, but, are you willing to match that passion with outworking everyone else, in what you want to do? And those values are very much with me today about being respectful. We were immigrants, and he understood the value of treating every person the same, and I've tried to do that. And particularly in football, I'm dealing with young people who have come from all different sorts of backgrounds, different different cultures, different sort of values in their own sense, and I need to appreciate that. And those kind of lessons I learned, from my upbringing, not just my father, my mum, and sort of the people I was around are very much part of me.
And do those values rub off on you? Are you looking for that in players potentially? When you go and sign a player, are you thinking, what values have they got first before maybe?
Yeah, I think it's important. At the same time, like I said, I've understood that people are different. And they behave and react differently to situations. So I think every manager thinks that after a loss, every player should be throwing stuff around the change room and kicking their bag, and players react differently. And I've learned to understand that and kind of embrace that even for myself. That doesn't mean people don't care, or it doesn't mean people aren't passionate about it. It's about understanding the individual. So whilst we work in a collective sense, I very much try and treat every player an individual as the individual they are. And within that context, my kind of role is to kind of guide them. I think there are some values that are universal, and those around respect and hard work and really appreciation for your environment and the people around you, and an empathy for that. That's the kind of space I try and guide them in. Yeah,
you talked a little bit there as well about sort of having those moments of heat in the dressing room potentially. Do you have a hairdryer, Ange? Is the Ange hairdryer plugged in, unplugged? Where is it?
I have my moments like everyone else. I mean, we're all human beings, and I think it would be unnatural not to. But again, it's got to come from a genuine place. Sometimes, you think it's predetermined. You go, you know what, I do have to go off here just to make an impact. I'm a pretty good actor in that, because I think you'll find if you spoke to me 5 minutes later, I'm back down to earth. But other times you do get emotional around, because it's an emotional game. It's what I love about the game. It's you have your highs and lows, and you experience that. I've had my moments. It's fair to say as you get older, they become less and less, hopefully, required, and less prevalent. Because I just, sometimes, particularly when you do it during a game, you look at yourself and go, "Oh, I'm an idiot."
I was going to ask that. When you see yourself back on Match of the Day or on Sky,
you just go, "Really?" I mean, behave better, or but again, you try and be yourself out there.